Excellent. So, today the talk is DMT breathwork. Can breathwork release DMT? Or how to get high on your own supply. Okay, so I'm John Woodruff. I'm a qualified therapist in a number of things: EFT, angelic Reiki. I've done a bit of yoga, Tai Chi. I've worked with plant medicine, so I've experienced DMT not just endogenously, which is naturally produced DMT. I've also done breath work with Mishka or Michaela Williams, who's here at the festival with Krista Clinic, which is just at the entrance to the campsite. It's in the program, so do look out for that. She's doing some really amazing work. And I've also done a bit of breath work with Oliver James, who is the author of a book which is about to be published called The Big Book of Breath. But I'm not an expert on breath work, but it's something that I am now doing. I've been doing what's called the Wim Hof breath for about a year now, and it's almost addictive. It's now part of my daily routine, so all very exciting. Oh, and happy solstice to everyone. What a beautiful day to do my talk, my first talk on breathwork. So yeah, I'm quite excited. So first off, what is DMT? Does anyone know what DMT is? Can anyone know what the name of the molecule is?
Dimethyltryptamine.
That's the one. So DMT, or to give its full name, is N N-Dimethyltryptamine, is a naturally occurring chemical found in both plants and animals, and it's probably best known as the active hallucinogenic compound in ayahuasca. So ayahuasca it's the ayahuasca vine and a shrub called chacruna, which the Amazon tribe's been using for hundreds, probably thousands of years. I think they've been doing this for a long, long time. There's talk of the shaman actually telling them what plants, because what are the chances of you finding two totally dissimilar plants, putting them together, boiling them up, drinking them, and having a very profound, life-changing experience? And DMT is probably best known because it gives you really profound, life-changing experiences, and it puts you into the sort of state that only years of meditation or chanting or silence would probably do. And it's also got a lot of similarities to people who have experienced near-death experiences. So when anyone that's looked into NDEs, seeing the light and going through a complete, basically leaving your body and realizing your body isn't that important, and there's a whole realm of consciousness out there which is yet to be explored. So for those of you, anyone into chemistry, it's a very, very simple molecule. It's actually very similar to serotonin, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So how does it actually affect the body? So obviously it increases your heart rate, it increases your blood pressure, and we're talking about if you introduce DMT into your body quite quickly. This isn't something that you're going to suddenly find when you're doing it with your, what we call endogenous. And when I say endogenous DMT, that means a DMT that is in our bodies. But as I say, I'm going to come on to that. So you might feel a little bit of, if you take DMT, you're going to might feel some agitation. Obviously your pupils dilate, rapid eye movements, and you may experience dizziness. You might find that. And when it's taken orally, it can cause nausea, vomiting, and a lot of other things. Now, it's been called the spirit molecule mainly because of the hallucinogenic effects it has. So a guy called Rick Strassman He wrote a book called The Spirit Molecule. He's also done a very good documentary which is on YouTube, which is free, which you can look. Is Rick Strassman, and he was the first academic to really explore DMT. And as soon as you start looking into DMT, you'll find out how little we know about it, because there's very little research, and it's the first guy that's actually done a little bit of research into it. And what he was speculating, and he is only speculating. Some people take it as fact that DMT is produced in the pineal gland. However, all we can say is that DMT is actually found in the pineal gland of most mammals that they've actually tested, and it's found in high quantities in our cerebral fluid as well. And what Rick Strassman did, he actually put the two things together, near-death experiences and DMT, and suggested that when we actually die, our pineal actually produces large amounts of DMT. And then Dr. Ida Fresca basically found that DMT has been found to bind to a certain receptor in the brain, sigma-1 receptor, which is plays a key role in protecting cells from dying and supporting the evidence. Now, because DMT was binding to this receptor, it supports the evidence that Rick Strassman was saying that it may be released in large quantities during death. And those people have actually come back from near-death experiences, certainly have very, very similar experiences. So what I'm going to do is to show the introduction.
This is the story of DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, a simple compound found throughout nature which has profound effects on human consciousness.
DMT, the spirit molecule. It's a conundrum, it's a paradox.
DMT is astonishingly widely available in plants and animals all around the world, but so far nobody really knows why it's there.
Why is DMT in our bodies? Why is it in plants, in all sorts of mammals? What is the role it plays in humans?
And that was one of the original findings that led me to start looking for a spirit molecule, for a compound in the brain that elicited mystical experience.
What does it mean? Why is there a part of the brain that seems to be, for lack of a better word, a God detector?
I'm actually quite convinced that we're probing the biological basis of moral and ethical behavior.
Well, it's a miraculous way for us to transcend ordinary reality and obtain maybe an intimation of what's necessary for survival.
I think DMT is a forcible reminder that there's a lot more about reality, the universe, ourselves, biosphere, whatever, that there's a lot more to it than we imagine.
There we go. That's the introduction to the trailer to the Spirit Molecule. So do have a look at it. It's and apparently the book. I've not read the book, but you have, Emma, and it's totally amazing. Apparently, according to Emma. So, how is DMT produced? Sorry, it's all coming up in the wrong order. I did this really rather last minute. Never mind. DMT is found endogenously, that is naturally occurring in the human body. It's found in larger quantities in the cerebral fluid, but it's actually found all over our bodies in very, very small quantities. And it's actually thought, but there's papers that suggest that it's produced in the lungs and the eyes, and it's speculated mainly by Rick Strassman and a number of other scientists that it's produced in the pineal gland. And so the big question is, can breath work produce DMT? Now, there's no scientific data to show that breathing produces DMT. However, it's thought that the lungs produce DMT, and deep breathing techniques actually stimulate the lungs. And but what we can certainly say is that it mimics the effects, or some of the effects, of DMT. Now, you're not going to go after a breathing, we're going to do a little breathing session in a bit. You're not going to be suddenly going down a tunnel of light and seeing machine elves and all these sort of strange creatures and things. So don't panic, but it will give you a chance. And it's something that if you want to take it up more permanently, then you can do longer breathwork sessions and actually delve into it a little bit deeper. What breathwork and deep breathwork, or DMT breath, does produce is serotonin. Now, serotonin, if you remember the last molecule, DMT molecule, is actually very, very similar to serotonin. And of course, serotonin is basically, it's about general well-being, feeling really good about yourself. The good thing is chocolate, natural chocolate, actually produces serotonin, which is very good news. And so does being in love, but not so much sex. That's more dopamine based. But serotonin, being in love and eating chocolate is one of the two things. I'm sure strawberries probably do as well. That's not been scientifically checked, but it's known as the happy hormone. And what's interesting, it's created in the gut. And a lot of people are saying that depression isn't a problem in the mind, it's actually a problem in the gut. And that if you sort out your gut flora, then it's more likely that you'll get your serotonin levels. If you've got your serotonin levels, you have to take anything like SSRIs, which are, what they're doing is inhibiting the take-up of serotonin, so boosting your serotonin levels. And then just to give you an idea, I don't want to get too biological, but very simple one here, dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is basically triggered by acts of short-term pleasure, whereas serotonin is more long-term. So if you're an artist and you get into your art, you're more likely to boost your serotonin levels. Dopamine only touches 5 brain receptors, whereas serotonin actually touches 14. Dopamine is addictive, so therefore anyone that's seeing me drink my alcohol, that's obviously boosting my short-term dopamine levels, and of course it's addictive. Serotonin is not addictive. Chocolate might be. And dopamine always leaves you wanting more, whereas serotonin basically makes you more centered, and you're likely to produce or increase your levels of serotonin, certainly with chanting, singing, breath work and meditation. But what's also really interesting is when you do deep breathing, it actually stimulates something called the vagus nerve. Has anyone come across what the vagus nerve? Okay, and as I say, this is as deep as we're going to get into biology, but really, really quickly, because Wim Hof refers to this, you've got your conscious brain, which is doing lots of subconscious things as well, but you've got what people refer to as the reptilian brain, and your vagus nerve comes off this. It also, basically, it's this long winding vagus, I think, is to do with, I can't remember my Latin, it's to do with wandering. It's a wandering nerve. So what it does, most of our nerves come from our brain, goes straight out. This one sort of meanders through, and it just happens to pass through all the main chakra points as well. So it's a very interesting, and deep breathing, or DMT breath work, or Wim Hof breath, whatever you call it, actually gets this, and it's like an information superhighway, especially to the gut. And the gut actually provides more information to the brain than the other way around. And we realise how important the gut is, not just in producing serotonin, but in general well-being as well. And so, yeah, it's basically the parasympathetic nervous system as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system. But I thought I'd just touch on that. So, what is DMT breath? So basically, we're just referring to deep or rapid breathwork techniques. Now, there's quite a number of them, which cause physical sensations and also can definitely cause changes in perception. Now, what is interesting, this has suddenly become very popular and interesting due to a guy called Wim Hof. Now, has anyone heard of Wim Hof here? Yeah? It's about half are nodding or putting their hands up. So, yeah, Wim Hof, he's quite extraordinary. His journey started out when he had an idyllic life. He had 4 children, and then his wife, unfortunately, committed suicide. She was dealing with a lot of stuff and left him. He then went into huge depression, and then he started exploring methods to actually get himself out of that. And what he did, part of that journey was yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, but he also started doing breath work. And he also did a number of other things. But he holds 26 world records. He's been packed in ice for an hour and a half, and his body can withstand it. Not only that, but he actually teaches other people how they can do it. So a lot of scientists were saying, oh right, it's okay for you, you're obviously a bit of a freak of nature. And he said, no, within 10 days, I will take a group of people and I will get them to go into ice cold water without really, feeling the painful effects. And he's since done that teaching down, he's done the training, he's got it down to 2 days. So anyone that says, oh my God, I couldn't get into ice cold water, and we're talking literally ice cold water, they're going to lakes where they're breaking the ice off. He's also climbed up mountains. He climbed Kilimanjaro in shorts. He met the border police, I think, in Bosnia when he was halfway up the mountain, and all these military guys come up and they're all like clad in the full military cold weather stuff, and there's him and a group of other people just in shorts. So it's brilliant what he's done, and he's an absolute inspiration. And it's his breath work, and obviously a number of different breath work techniques that I've been doing, which is really, but this one is the one that I do probably most regularly. He says our world has so much suffering, so much burnout, so much physical and mental disease. Our world is sick and suffering, and I found a way to do something about it. We have to reawaken ourselves. And I've got a little video here.
We are able, everybody, to tap into the autonomic nervous system in 2 days. I found this shortcut. I found the missing link. We are able to activate these hormones which makes us happy, strong, and tap into the immune system. Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hanks, Orlando Bloom, doing this breathing and all that, because they know they have all the money, the power, reputation, recognition, this and the blah, 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 but they have no power over their stress. And I bring them something that is able to relieve them from that stress. The whole brings you in a deeper connection with the deeper parts of the brain, which is the adrenaline, the reptilian mode, the primitive brain, the reactionary brain, which is not thinking but only feeling. This is what I was looking for, something beyond religion, beyond concepts of philosophy, or if you do this, this happens, all kinds of disciplines, but never this depth in my brain connected with the depth of my body. I felt power, just internal power. which is connection. And this connection, if you feel it and you get out, then you have triggered something inside, something deep. And it makes you feel good, because feeling good is deep connection.
Excellent, so that was Wim Hof. Just give me a second to find my...
So he's using the cold water instead of these religions, you know, is that what
He's using, he's definitely, the cold water is very, very much part of it. But to be able to deal with cold water, so they're both, it's 50-50. It's using cold therapy, and it's also using the breathing techniques. But it would be very difficult to do the cold water if you weren't doing the meditation and breathing techniques. So, but the cold water also does a lot of the same things that the breathing does as well. And it triggers the reptilian, the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve. But it also does a whole heap of other things. So, is DMT breathing safe? So, DMT breathing, DMT is a safe technique, sorry, missed a word out there. DMT breathing is a safe technique, however, precautions are strongly advised as it can cause dizziness. So, we're going to have a go at it in a minute. What I would suggest is that if you do it, that you're not perched on no one's standing up or there we go. So some people might be at risk of temporarily passing out, and if you did, and not for the session we're doing, but if you did, it would only be a few seconds before you. But you don't want to be doing it. What Wim Hof does, he actually does it in cold water. Now, it'd be very dangerous to actually, for any of us, with his experience, he can get away and do it. But for us, it'd be a lot more difficult, just be a little bit more foolhardy to actually do a deep breathing where you might actually pass out and drown. So don't do it in the bath, and don't do it even in cold water. So precautions. So obviously if you're pregnant, I don't think it's a really good idea to, basically what we're going to be doing, we're going to be pushing your oxygen levels very, very high. We're then going to be dropping the level of oxygen in your blood and increasing the CO2 level. So your carbon dioxide in the blood will become very high. And initially you'll want to breathe, but what we're going to do is actually breathe out, and we're not going to hold our breaths. What we're going to do is breathe out and then just allow ourselves to go with that sensation. So obviously I've said about water, obviously don't do it whilst you're driving or doing anything silly, or if you may fall and hurt yourself. So, what are the advantages of DMT breathwork? Well, it strengthens the immune system, it alkalizes the body, so, it works really well with an alkaline diet, which is more of like a plant-based diet. It's really good for exercising the stomach muscles and toning your stomach, and it's really good at focusing the mind. First thing in the morning, I'm thinking, right, I need a cup of coffee to get myself going, but it's a really good way of, I tend to do it before a meditation. If I'm going to do a meditation, I'll do it before a meditation, but it also energizes you at the same time. So it does two things. It sounds a little bit paradoxical, that it energizes you and it also relaxes you, but the two things can work together. Because I find a cup of coffee can send me a little bit off the rails occasionally. So it increases serotonin levels, it also reduces stress, it improves your stamina, and if you can do, say, 5 press-ups normally, try doing the Wim Hof, perhaps 3 to 5 rounds of Wim Hof breathing, and then see how many you can do, and it's quite remarkable. and it helps you sleep as well. So lots of fantastic advantages. So there's various types of breath work which mimic DMT, because we can't say it produces, but there's no scientific evidence that produces DMT, but it certainly mimics a lot of the effects of DMT. So there's the Wim Hof breath, there's it's called the flutter breath, which is also known as the Kundalini breath of fire, and obviously the holographic breath work as well, which Emma can also tell you about because she's been at some of their retreats, and that is something where you really go out there. The people have been talking about holotropic breath work. It's also a way of working with a lot of trauma and releasing trauma from your body. So I'm just going to show you a few little charts. Don't get worried about them, but it's just going to give you a visual representation of what we're talking about. So I can show you a graph and say, right, we're going to breathe like this. So your normal breath is the tidal volume. I don't know if you can see that tidal there, which is just normal up and down. Now if you take a big deep breath, so if I said, right, we're going to hold our breath for 3 minutes, we go, then you're filling your lungs. That's the reserve volume. Now, if you see a child who's about 10 years old and got a whole cake full of candles, and they go, then it drops all the way down. Okay? So that's your reserve volume. So basically, you've got your inspirational reserve volume, your expiration reserve volume, and your tidal. So at the moment, we're just using our tidal capacity. So there we go, that's our normal breathing. Okay, it obviously varies up and down, but that's your normal breathing, is where you're not taking deep breath and you're not breathing out really much more than that. Now with the Wim Hof breath, what we're going to be doing in a few moments, we're going to be breathing in pretty well as much as we can, but then all you do is you just let it go. And I've actually chosen a soundtrack of Wim Hof actually talking you through this, because I listen to it pretty well every day and I don't get bored of it. Sometimes I do it without his commentary, but he's quite an inspiration, and he's a real motivator. So what we're going to do initially is breathe out all the way. So we're just going to breathe out and hold that. And then what we're going to do is at the end of it, he'll go, right, take a deep breath, and we're going to take that deep breath and we're going to breathe in as much as we possibly can and hold it there for about 15 seconds. So I think rather than try me explaining it, let's just get on and do it. So if you'd like to get yourself comfortable, if you normally meditate sitting up, try sitting up. I like to do it lying down because you can really relax. And I'll be doing it with you, although I will be standing up. So get yourselves comfortable.
Okay, with your mind, follow your breath. Go on, go on. Fill up your belly, your chest, everything you got. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. We will do 30 breaths. We almost got 10. Fully in. Letting go. Relax. Fully in. Then you let go. Fully in. Letting go. It's all alright. Fully in. letting go. Here is the meditation, here's the going deep. Even people meditating for years are not able to go as deep as we will go now. And go. Go with the flow. Like the sea, waves getting to the shore, then letting go. And there it comes again, fully and letting go. 17, fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. You feel light in your head, loose in your body, tingling. It's all alright. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. Intensify. Whatever you feel is different. We are charging up the body. We want to go into the depth. We are charging up the body. Yes, 23. 7 more. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. 4. Fully in. 3. Fully in. 2. Fully in. 1. Here comes the last one. Fully in. Let him go. And stop after the exhalation. Just witness. Feel the feeling, the rush. It's your blood in your nervous system. Charges, there's no need for breathing whatsoever. It's no hypnotizing. Just the magic of the physiology at work. Now your body, your nervous system is getting into the brainstem, slowly and surely. Oxygen levels begin to decrease rapidly. Thus the brainstem is beginning to answer, hey, there is no oxygen, but you are alkaline. Your chemistry is right, so there is no need for breathing. But the crocodile doesn't understand. Okay, breathe in. And breathe in and hold. And squeeze to your head. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. That is 1 round. Okay, with your mind, follow your breath. Go on, go on. Fill up your belly, your chest, everything you got. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. We will do 30. 30 breaths. We almost got 10. Fully in. Letting go. Relax. Fully in. Then you let go. Fully in. Letting go. It's all alright. Fully in. Letting go. Here is the meditation. Here's the going deep. Even people meditating for years are not able to go as deep as we will go now. And go. Go with the flow. Like the sea, waves getting to the shore, then letting go. And there it comes again, fully and letting go. 17. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. You feel light in your head, loose in your body, tingling. It's all alright. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. Intensify. Whatever you feel is different. We are charging up the body. We want to go into the depth. We are charging up the body. Yes, 23. 7 more. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. letting go. Fully in. 4. Fully in. 3. Fully in. 2. Fully in. 1. Here comes the last one. Fully in. Let him go. And stop after the exhalation. Just witness. Feel the feeling, the rush. It's your blood in your nervous system. Charges, there's no need for breathing whatsoever. It's no hypnotizing. Just the magic of the physiology at work. Now your body, your nervous system is getting into the brainstem, slowly and surely. Oxygen levels begin to decrease rapidly. Thus the brainstem is beginning to answer, hey, there is no oxygen, but you are alkaline. Your chemistry is right, so there is no need for breathing. But the crocodile doesn't understand. He says, I have to survive. Adrenaline shoots out. You get a reset to your primordial state, wherein the immune system suddenly is within the reach of the will. And it's happening. All what is not necessary in the body, the wrong cells, cancer cells, half cells, it is being expelled because you need to be in function. So there it is. Okay, breathe in. And breathe in and hold. And squeeze to your head. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Okay, with your mind, follow your breath. Go on, go on. Fill up your belly, your chest, everything you got. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. We will do 30. 30 breaths. We almost got 10. Fully in. Letting go. Relax. Fully in. Then you let go. Fully in. Letting go. It's all alright. Fully in. Letting go. Here is the meditation. Here's the going deep. Even people meditating for years are not able to go as deep as we will go now. And go. Go with the flow. Like the sea. Waves getting to the shore. Then letting go. And there it comes again. Fully letting go. 17. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. You feel light in your head, loose in your body, tingling. It's all alright. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. Intensify. Whatever you feel is different. We are charging up the body. We want to go into the depth. We are charging up the body. Yes, 23. 7 more. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. 4. Fully in. 3. Fully in. 2. Fully in. 1. Here comes the last one. Fully in. Let him go. And stop after the exhalation. Just witness. Feel the feeling, the rush. It's your blood and your nervous system. Charges, there's no need for breathing whatsoever. It's no hypnotizing, just the magic of the physiology at work. Now your body, your nervous system is getting into the brainstem, slowly and surely. Oxygen levels begin to decrease rapidly. Thus the brainstem is beginning to answer, hey, there is no oxygen, but you are alkaline. Your chemistry is right, so there is no need for breathing. But the crocodile doesn't understand. He says, I have to survive. Adrenaline shoots out. You get a reset to your primordial state, wherein the immune system suddenly is within the reach of the will. And it's happening. All what is not necessary in the body, the wrong cells, cancer cells, half cells, it is being expelled because you need to be in function. A danger is happening. The body goes into this autonomic nervous system state of being to be the best of yourself. And you are doing it all consciously. You are at ease. This is the way we get into the deepest and take over control in the neurological pathways. Right over there, blood flow is going into the depth, into all the parts of the brain. Any brain scan is able to tell that. So there it is. Okay, breathe in and breathe in and hold and squeeze to your head. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go.
How was that for everyone? How's it feel? Does everyone feel okay? Now the first hold, I edited it so that the first hold was for 1 minute, the second hold was for 1.5 minutes, and the third hold was for just over 2 minutes. So that was without a lungful of air, and it's quite remarkable because you know, was anyone able to go the whole distance with the last one? Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have to shout. Sorry, 'cause I'm slightly deaf.
I got psychedelics then, man.
That was amazing. Amazing.
Was that good? Now, I did actually have another one, but I think it's probably going to be too much to go. Yes. Yes. Yeah, hold, but he does suggest that you tense slightly. But yeah, if you he suggests tensing up slightly and sort of which I think it helps the whole thing. Yeah, yeah. But I'm feeling I was doing it with you, and I'm slightly dehydrated and short on sleep. And I've just been like charging around filming something else, and then had to run over here to do this. And I'm now feeling centered and aligned. So, yeah. So, who got psychedelics? So, would anyone like to share? You have to shout as loud as you can.
I saw a green snake jaw, like coming like down at me like that. The snake jaw with the nostrils.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got like, like DNA packed spinal.
Oh, beautiful. You felt safe.
Hell yeah, that was great.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Phil, how do you?
I started to get some like alien like, you know, the shape of the grey aliens
Yeah.
coming at me right at the end when we're holding our breath on the last.
Yeah,
I didn't
that-
let go.
Holding the breath.
I forget that I'm with a
That's
group
when
of
it
people that are
happens.
already pretty out there. Yeah, it's
We've already
brilliant.
been there, mate.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to see how we're doing on time.
47 minutes you've had.
47. Okay. I'll take a show of hands. Would anyone like to just do another 5 minutes with a different breath? If you feel you've had enough, stop, because this isn't an advanced class, but there's some quite remarkable people. There's only about 5 minutes or so. What do you reckon? Yeah? Okay. This is something that I've put together myself, as far as just I put a couple of tracks together. Okay. And we're going to do what's called, it's got a number of different names. People refer to it as the flutter breath. Okay. And can you see here, it's like a normal breath, but it's actually probably a little bit shorter than a normal breath. And if anyone sniffs, if we just like take a sniff, you go like that, and then, so if you go sniff really hard, yes? Yes, yeah. So if you're on your moon cycle, not a good idea. Thank you. I should have had that in the precautions. But that one particularly, this one particularly, I think it probably just throws a cycle. We don't want to interfere with the natural cycles. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to play a little bit of side trance, and what we'll do. So has everyone got the breath? Okay. So it's so you're obviously picking it up on the mic there. So it's basically a short breath, ideally through your nose. It works better through your nose. So you're sniffing and then blowing out. But we're going to be doing it to 142 beats per minute. Okay, so it's only going to be for about a minute. Okay, but it'll give you the chance to do another breath. If you've got water, please drink it, because you don't want to be dehydrated. So is everyone ready and comfortable? If you prefer lying down, I would suggest you lie down. There's plenty of mat down here if you don't want to lie on the grass. I'm presuming it's dry. I think when I go on to the next slide, it starts automatically. So it's just going to be a minute, just literally just a minute of breathing. But because your body is already oxygenated, you've already got high oxygen levels in your cells. You've balanced out your bloodstream, but your cells are still feeling energized. So you're still going to be feeling energized. This on top could be interesting. So if everyone's ready for it, okay. I should have got you all to sign a medical disclaimer, shouldn't I? Okay. Okay, so if you start off with the go inside yourselves, just become aware of your body and the sensations in your body. Just feel your heart. Feel the love in your heart. Feel the light in your heart. Feel that radiating through every cell in your body. And then feel that radiating out.
you doing
Thank
any
you.
more? Are you doing any more talks?
If we have a cancellation, I'll do it again. Yeah.
I have a question about you, like that Wim Hof. He was saying that because our body's alkaline, we don't need to breathe.
Yeah.
In that moment, only whilst you're holding that breath. And so you're breathing out, and in that moment, your body, its natural response normally after about 15, 20 seconds is like, oh God, I need to breathe, But if you practice, and this is something that as you practice it, it works better and you get used to it. And you can also extend, some people go quite happily 3 minutes. And this is with not complete, fairly empty lungs. You've just got the reserve capacity in your lungs. But what you're not doing is holding your breath. Normally, most people could perhaps go 2 or 3 minutes with holding their breath. But this is actually breathing out first, and then basically you're reducing the oxygen levels in your cells are very high, so your body doesn't need oxygen, but the level in your blood drops very quickly, and that goes to the reptilian brain, and this is why it starts hacking into the autonomic nervous system, the vagus nerve. And it's brilliant if you can do it regularly or add it to your routine. It's got a profound effect. What I'm doing is, you see at the bottom, DMTbreath.com. I'm hoping to have that live within a week or so. But what I'm going to be doing is providing more online breathwork courses. So anyone that wants to take it a little bit further, you can do. I should have some cards somewhere. I'll find them. If I can't find them now, what I'll do, I'll make sure they're here because I'm with the crew for Avalon Rising. So all I have to say is thank you very, very much for listening to me. Happy solstice. And has anyone got any questions before we close?
Just one quick one. Is it always safe to do this on your own?
Yes, it's safe to do it by yourself.
I only felt safe to do it because I knew that you were here. I
Yeah.
could have carried on not breathing.
What I would suggest is certainly the Wim Hof. There are lots of different ones. There's a very good channel called Take a Breath, and it starts you off with, you can start off with shorter ones. You can do 60 breaths and then hold for however long, and there are hour-long sessions. I wouldn't suggest you do that to start with. So we've done a starter, but quite a robust starter. We're in a safe space, we're looking after each one. If you don't feel comfortable, the best thing to do is do it with somebody else. Because if you've got that anxiety to begin with, that might just come out with it. But after a while, you will get confident.
And also the anxiety and the feelings can be processed as well.
Sorry?
The anxiety and the feelings can come up, but they can be processed through the breath.
Yes.
No, I didn't feel
Yes.
anxious at all. I could have carried on.
Well,
But
another
on your
thing
own,
that
it's a different
if we prolong the breaths, then you will get various different traumas coming up. We weren't doing it long enough to really release that. We weren't putting the intention out for that. But if you suddenly feel stuff coming out, try not to push it down. Try and experience it. Right, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Go with it. Feel that anxiety. It's a feeling. We tend to run away from all the so-called negative feelings, but it's just a feeling. We don't run away from elation or love, or sometimes we do, but we don't run away from the positive feelings as much as we do the negative ones. But when you actually feel with it, and then you can actually go into it and think, right, well, what is this about? I think about following the string back. Okay, is there something? And just put out the question, because you'll be in a nice relaxed state to be able to, and you might get something come up and give you the answer for what it is that's actually causing the anxiety or whatever it is in the first place. So, yeah, thank you. Brilliant, thank you very much. That was my first